Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the course. So, as with all my courses, I just like to jump right in and get started. I don't like to do these long, drawn out introductions. So, here's the Epic Launcher. And what we're going to do is we're just going to launch up 4.25.3. That's the current latest version. So, we're just going to launch that. Okay, you'll get this project launcher. All you do is you click Games. And then we're going to do the third person template here. And then just call it whatever you like. I'm calling mine the Souls RPG Remaster because this is the remaster. So go ahead and create your project and I'll see you on the inside. And just so you know, this is going to be a blueprint only project. The previous version of the project used C++, but some people were breaking their projects and it's just not worth it. I'd rather we just keep things simple. So we'll just stick to Blueprint in this project. And these days, Blueprint is plenty fast. Don't worry about the whole speed debate. You won't really notice any differences. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're actually going to create a new level. Go to Default. And I'm just going to scale this floor up. Click on the floor, press R, and then you can scale along the X and the Y here. Just want to make it pretty big like this. This is going to be our testing level where we're just going to test out logic and things like that. You know, we'll test out our AI and combat. It makes it a lot easier just to have an empty level like this that's just plain and simple. And then eventually we'll also create a level with some, some terrain and stuff like that. But that's kind of where you can get creative and you can just create a level on your own if you want. But this testing level is going to be our main area where we set up most of our logic. Let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to create a new folder here called Maps. This is in the root of the content. And in this Maps folder, let's just call this testing level. So now we have a testing level. So the next part of the setup is getting the character that we're going to use. So let's go ahead and open up the Epic Launcher again and go to the Marketplace tab up here. And the character we're going to use is called Greystone. So just type in Greystone up here. You'll get this guy. He's free. And for the sake of this project, use all the assets that I'm using. Don't go using another Paragon character because it could be rigged differently and have different animations. It's important that you stick with the characters that I'm using in this project. So make sure you get Greystone here. And then go to add to project, find your project, and then just click add to project. So you're gonna have to download this character and then add him to your project. And so once you're done downloading, just come back to the video. Okay, I've got the Greystone added to the project, and this is what it will look like in your content browser. It's gonna say Paragon Greystone here. You can also see it up here. Go ahead and open this folder. Actually, you don't even have to open the folder. You can select the folder here, go to filters, and then click on level. And these filters are really nice because you can just filter for certain classes or things you want. Like if we just want the characters, we can just click skeletal mesh here and we have all the characters here. There's 5 of them. But I'm going to go ahead and click on level because what I want to do is I want to open up this Greystone level. And what's going to happen is that when you open the level for the first time, it's going to compile a bunch of shaders. And depending on your computer, it could take like 10 minutes. So what you want to do is open up the level and then pause the video. And then when you're done compiling, then unpause the video and we'll continue. All right, so this is what the level looks like when it's done compiling. And we have several characters that we can play with here. We're going to go with this guy for the remaster here. We're going to use this character here. This one is called Greystone Tough. This character right here. What we're actually going to do is we're going to take this guy and we're going to send him into Blender. We're going to use Blender 2.9 to separate this shield and the sword from the character. And then we'll re-import the character back into Unreal Engine. And we'll rig it up using the same skeleton. So if all that sounds foreign to you, it's okay. This isn't really a super beginner level course. This is more of like, it is a beginner's course because you're a beginner. Even if you've been using the engine for a year, you're still a beginner. But what we're going to do is all these characters are rigged to the same exact skeleton. It's just, these are just different skins and models, but they're all rigged to the same skeleton. So we can export this guy, make some edits on him, and then re-import him. And it will still work with the animations and everything like that. We'll just make some simple edits to the model here, so we can just remove this sword, because the downside of these Paragon assets is these weapons and swords that they come with, they're attached to the character itself, and we don't want that. We want the weapons and stuff to be separate. So once you understand how to separate these the sword and stuff from the character, you'll have the skill set to take any mesh really, import them into Blender, separate these shields and swords, and you can have a whole assortment of different weapons and stuff like that. So that's what we'll be doing in the next video, but for now I want to set up some base classes as well. So let's go back and open up our testing level. You can just go to File, Recent Levels, Testing Level. And then what I want to do here in the content folder is I'm going to make a new folder. I'm going to call _main. And I put an underscore on it because it sends it to the top of my list here. It just makes it easy to access. And in the main folder, I'm going to create a new folder. I'm just going to call it Base Classes. And in this folder, let's make some base classes really quickly. We won't edit them in this video, but we'll just make them and get them out of the way. So let's make a game mode base called GM_Souls game. This will be our main game mode for the actual game. We'll have to make a separate game mode for, the main menu and stuff like that. But you can open this up and it's just really simple. We're not going to make any edits in it. But what I want to do is I want to take this game mode, and in our testing level here, if we go to world settings on the right, I want to override the game mode here because I want our testing level to use the same game mode that our actual game will be using. So you can click this arrow and just plug it in. And this arrow is really useful. You'll see it all over the engine. And the way it works is whatever object you have selected in the content browser, this arrow will try to plug it in. So just like that. So you can save it. And if you expand this selected game mode, you have more arrows here. So we can plug in a custom player controller, a custom pawn class, etc. So we'll go ahead and make a player controller as well. So back here in the main folder, let's right click, Blueprint Class, Player Controller. And call this BP_Souls Controller. Just so we have a specific name here. And then like I said, I'm going to take this and plug it into our game mode here. So let's just drag this tab up here, select the player controller and plug it into the player controller class. And then let's make another blueprint class of type character called BP_character base. This base character we're going to use for both AI and the player. And then we'll make children from this that will be like the player and then AI classes and things like that. So this character base is going to store the majority of our logic that all of our characters want to run on, whether it's AI or the player. Okay, so we don't want to plug this character base into the default pawn class here. That's not what we want to do with it. What we want to do with it is create a child. And I'm going to call this the hero character. So this will be our main like human player class. And so this I'm going to take and plug into our game mode here. Go to the default pawn class and just press the arrow. And now we got 4 main classes here. And that's going to do it for this video. In the next video, what we're going to do is we're going to take the Greystone mesh here and we're going to import it into Blender. So that's going to do it for this video, and I will see you in the next one.